Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Gabrielle and today I'm doing like a video is what I'm doing. I'm doing this, it's not really a tag. I guess it could be considered a tag. I'm not really sure what the word is basically, but this idea, it was inspired by Huda Beauty, where she did a video recently talking about one-off products, where what are the brands that you only have one singular product from. It literally has to be one. Like say the only products you have from Tower 28 are the glosses. Since you have two glosses, it doesn't count because you have two. Like it has to be one item, one shade, one variation, whatever it is, from the entire brand. I looked at my collection and I really didn't think I was gonna have that many things, but I have a lot. So I thought that it would be fun to participate in this. Definitely check out Huda Beauty. I love watching her videos, and she just recently did some spin-offs of this idea as well, where she also did products that she loved so much that she went back for more, like bought more shades of a really amazing formula or something. Or the one that she posted today that I'm recording, she called it the all-in bitch, where you bought multiple shades right out the gate, which I've definitely done and I kind of regret. So anyways, if you're interested in pretty much taking a look at my collection, these are basically also going to be mini reviews. Hang out, subscribe, grab your pet lovingly. Also, yes, I do hate Wrigleyville. I really do though. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to section them off, I think, to kind of make more sense, for me at least. So I'm going to start off with the primer category. The first brand is Peach C. This is the Peach Glow Makeup Base. It's the primer. I need to try this out more. I've kind of been obsessing over my Glossier Future Dew. Today I kind of decided like stay away from that and I revisited another primer, but I kind of need to try this one more because I noticed one day that I used it and my base didn't look very good, and I don't know if it was because of this or if it was because it was a Halloween look, and when you're blocking your brows there's a lot going on, you're not going to look very smooth. So I really want to like give this a few more rounds. I've been having a love affair with Future Dew. It's the best primer. Or I should say it's my favorite right now. I've only had it for a little bit, but yeah, I like the way that this smells and I like the way that it feels. I just kind of want to give it a few more fair goes. This isn't really a primer. It's multi-purpose for me. I'm going to keep it brief because I've mentioned it a lot. Auric. This is the only product I have from Auric. And of course, you know how I feel about it. I love mixing it with my foundation. I love it as a liquid highlighter. And can I just say, I bought this when it launched, which was sometime in January, like late January. And look at how full that it looks. Like it looks like I've barely made a fucking dent in it because again, I almost dropped it. I don't use a full pump with this. I actually find that when I do, it can lead a little much. It's a staple product for me. It's a hero product. If I ever do go through this thing, which I will, I think I will at some point, I would repurchase this so that I could always have it in my collection because she's that girl. Like she is just that girl. Like I literally use her every time I do my makeup. Like this is the product that I use every single time. So yes, I'm really intrigued by her eyeshadows. I am. I just worry that like I won't use them because when eyeshadows come in like a compact, I feel like I don't really use them a lot. Like I would rather they just be in a magnetic palette or in a pre-made palette or something. Like I only own one Super Shock. I feel like that's about as much as I can handle. Her little eyeshadow things do look nice, and I feel like those could actually be good Christmas gifts. Like a cute little stocking stuffer for someone that's very simple and just wants something really easy. Can you imagine her coming out with a palette though? Like I feel like her shimmers would be good. I have faith. Right, the next category is foundation, and the brand that I have for that is LYS. I have to hold this a certain way because it keeps like reflecting off of the light. The light keeps bouncing off of this cap. But this is LYS, the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. Black owned brand at Sephora. They're the first black owned clean brand, like their focus is being clean, and I really am liking this foundation so far. I'm wearing it right now. This is like my third time wearing it. This is good on its own, and I've also been mixing it with Glow Lust, which is I kind of feel like I cracked the code mixing this with Glow Lust. Like they were made for each other. They're like Chloe and Halle. They just work together so well, and they're both very beautiful. But anyways, like seriously, I'm really liking this foundation so far, and it's $22, which is a pretty good price for a Sephora brand. It does leave a nice glowy finish. My skin is leaning a little more dry, so I can't really speak to like people with oily skin, but I do believe I've seen people with oily skin say that they like this as well. Even when I do mix it with Glow Lust on top of the fucking Future Dew primer, which is a very glowy primer, my face isn't like falling off. At the end of the day, it just works. If you're oily, it might give you some trouble, but it also might not. I don't know, I recommend like watching people with oily skin, their reviews on this foundation, but if you're more normal to dry and you like the glowy look, it's wonderful. I don't have any concealers for this very specific video, so I'm gonna move on to powder. The Creme Shop. I have the Moondust Universal Powder. I like this powder. I feel like it lasts pretty well throughout the day. It has a pretty nice finish. I feel like for me, when it comes to loose powders, I'm always going to crease. Like, it doesn't matter unless there's a powder out there where it's like, holy shit, that I just haven't discovered yet, but I've tried my fair share. I just feel like my under eyes, they're always gonna crease throughout the day. Like when I wear makeup for like 8 hours or more, I do definitely like notice things. So I can't sit here and say that any powder is creaseless. For, like, personally for me, but I feel like this is pretty nice. My under eyes don't look cakey, at least. Like, they don't look super textured. It just looks like normal wear. I believe you could get this at CVS, right? Or Target. You might have to order it online for Target though. That's how I got it. But yeah, I've been using this for like a year or over a year, and I like it. And I think the packaging is really cute. It's a little astronaut. The next powder I have here is dirty. Let me clean this. I have the Hourglass Veil. Yeah, Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And yeah, this is the only product I own from Hourglass. I bought it like shortly before the fuckery of them saying like, we only cater to white people, basically. So yeah, I still have it. Yeah, you know, I don't recommend throwing products out just because you disagree with a brand. I think that's wasteful, and they still have your money regardless, so just use it. Who cares? I used to have the Hourglass primer, and I really, really liked it. I remember I really liked that primer. I used it all up. For now, I just have this powder, and again, I would love for Hourglass to like change. Because there's definitely some things from Hourglass that have always intrigued me, like ever since I started watching YouTube. Those were the only 2 products that I ever bought. This powder's fine. Like, again, my under eyes are still going to crease just because they're my under eyes. This is very fine and it's very soft. The finish is nice, but I do feel like you could just get a cheaper powder. It's not bad. It's just like, oh, sure. I remember the claim of this powder being that there's supposed to be like a light sheen, and I think I do see it a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I used to use this all over my face, and then I just got tired of putting loose powder all over my face. I'd rather use a pressed powder for that. I still want to use this specifically under my eyes more often. And for pressed powder, like all over the face, it's back in my life. I shattered mine. Mine fell onto the floor and it shattered, so I'm holding on to this very tight. That happened like maybe 3 years ago, so I'm like, it's fine, just get a new one. You've waited long enough. And sorry, this is another one that's kind of hard to hold. I didn't even say what this is. Do you know what this is? Do you not know what this is? This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. I do like this powder. I've used it a few times since I got it. I'm wearing it right now. And this is a really nice lightweight powder. And I do think that it sets your makeup really well without it looking cakey. But I do think there is a powder that is better than this. Kosas Cloud Set. I think this powder is a little better than this one because this is lighter. And I think the reason why people with dry skin especially love this powder so much is because it's so light. Like, you can see it setting, but not really. Like, it's definitely setting, but you can't really like see it. Just like this matte veil. This is also not a matte veil, but you could definitely see it set, and you can see it a little bit more than this one. Like, if you put this over top of your cream blush, it definitely tones it down. So then that's just up to personal preference. Do you want that with your powder or not? But regardless, both of these powders, you can you can still get like a glow shining through with them. and I think that they're both nice. I also think that both of these powders are pretty blurring for like your pores around here. I feel like they blur those pores pretty nicely. But if you just want one, if you're like, I don't need variety, I just want one, especially because it's cheaper. But again, maybe if you're a little more oily, then I recommend the Charlotte Tilbury. But if you're like, hey, fuck it, I'll try both, ¿por qué no las dos? Then yeah, fuck it, you can't go wrong with both. You really can't. They're both very nice powders. I forgot how much the Kosas powder is exactly, like 30 something, and Charlotte Tilbury is 45. As far as getting more things from Charlotte Tilbury, I recently said that she's not really a brand that I look into, right? But then I started looking into her. There's quite a few things that I'm lusting after now. And I feel like it's because when we think of Charlotte Tilbury, we think complexion. And complexion might not always sound interesting right off the gate. We're just kind of like, oh, okay. But then like when you finally try that complexion product and you're like, oh, this is really good, it is exciting. Like, look at me with fucking Glow Lust, right? And her eyeshadows are much more interesting in person. Like when I went to Sephora recently, I went up to her stand and I looked at her eyeshadows, and her shimmers look much more dimensional in person. So maybe I would try a quad of hers one day, because her quads are expensive. She is expensive. She's an expensive brand, but I feel like I would rather try her quads than like the full palette. But I am looking in great interest into Charlotte. Okay, I know that the girlies are talking, and I want to see what they're talking about. So let's continue with bronzer. The only product I have from Kiko Milano is their Dolce Diva bronzer. This is a baked bronzer in the shade Special Honey. This bronzer is phenomenal. I love this bronzer. It also smells like cocoa powder. It's really cute, and I'm wearing it as well. I know my lights are very blown out and they wash everything out, so I don't know if you can see, but I really love this tone for somebody like me with yellow undertones. And it's just beautiful. It's very buildable. It just gives you like a really nice sun-kissed look. Especially like for a powder, it's not patchy or anything. It's not like overly pigmented. Like, this isn't really a bronzer you have to be careful with. It just works. I really love this bronzer. I really love this design here. And this is pretty big. I mean, I'm sure you could tell, like, this is a pretty big fucking size, and it's like 20 bucks full price. I wanted this because Kara C showed it in her video, and I was like, that is really appealing to my eyes. So I was kind of hunting this powder down because it's not on the Ulta site anymore. So I did the most getting just this, but I'm really glad that I did. I really love this bronzer. Right, Juvia's Place. The only thing I have from them is this bronzing duo, and I like this. Again, I really like the tone of this bronzer. This is an okay contour shade for me. I feel like for it to be like perfect for me, it would need to be a little cooler, but it's not like too bad. I like this shade of bronzer as, again, for somebody with my undertones and somebody as light as me. I feel like it just looks really nice, really sun-kissed, and I'm kind of surprised that this is the only product I own from Juvia's Place. I mentioned before that I used to have one of their palettes, but I just didn't use it at all, and maybe I'd be interested in trying another eyeshadow palette of theirs to kind of give them another chance. This is really pretty, and I really like the packaging. Like, something about it just feels very like luxe to me, even like the component. Like, I don't know why, but this is really nice. Why do I have so many bronzers? Like, Physicians Formula, the only product I have is the butter bronzer. This was my only bronzer for a while, so I've used this a bunch of times. It's a great tone. I don't really care for Physicians Formula because they are also like Hourglass. Now, it took them so long to even make more shades of this bronzer. Like, this was the only shade for however long that happened. I think I dropped it, but it's interesting how there's still no pan. This bronzer will never die. With this being like the only bronzer that I had, I never hit pan on it. So it's like, this will outlive you. And even with it breaking, like, there's layers to this shit. I don't hate the packaging. I feel like a lot of people despise the packaging. They thought it was too clunky, but I don't know. What I don't like about it is the smell. Everybody loved the smell, and I don't like the smell. Like, it's pretty faded. I've had this for a while. But like, I don't like the smell, and everybody was like, oh my god, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck. Okay, I have one more bronzer. I believe in bronzer supremacy. Danessa Myricks. I got this during the sale Well, a few of the things I mentioned I got during the sale. The LYS, the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and more coming up. I got her Power Bronzer, Cream Bronzer, that's the name of it. And I got the lightest shade. When I first used this bronzer, it scared me because I felt like I applied too much, but it does blend out if you do kind of go a little bit overboard, because you don't need a lot with this product. This might be like a touch orange leaning, like it's not orange, but it still works on me just as long as like you don't go too much or you blend it out really well. But this is a really good formula. I'm really liking it so far. I feel like it's pretty light. Like I feel like this could be used for like a no makeup day or something that you want to look undetectable. I think that this would be pretty good for that. And of course, with Vanessa Marix, I would love to try more of her products. I love her artistry. She's really creative, really good at taking photos as well. I'm also interested in trying her cream blushes. And I remember when I first saw this in store, I was like, is that gonna be too light for me? Like, it's pretty light for a light bronzer, but I feel like it's not too light. You know, it definitely still works. It definitely still gives you some dimension, and it's nice. I like it. Blush. So I got this during the sale too. This is the Huda Beauty Cheek Slime in the shade Fielding. It's really nice. This is a really nice color. The formula is really good too. Like, I consider it a little more of a buildable formula. I was putting it on my cheeks and it looked a little bit like ketchup, but then I blended it out and it looked really nice. It held up pretty well during the day too, like even after like 8 hours of wear. Yeah, it's kind of like a orangey brown, sort of. It's really pretty. I'm really liking this blush. I feel like Frac doesn't have a lot of makeup. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like they mostly have like their freckle pen, which is like 20 bucks for something that is like the size of a boy brow, if not smaller. And then I know that they also have highlighters in this formula, but I don't know what other makeup they have, especially because like with the name Frac, I'm pretty sure that their whole gig was the freckle pen for a little bit. But I'd be interested in trying out more from this brand. I'm really liking it so far. So Romance, they are a Korean brand, and this is from Yes Style. I got the blush in the shade Dream Powder. I tried this blush out in a video and I was scared because look at how fucking light this is. Like, I don't think this would work for like a tan skin tone. I mean, do I really even need to say that? Like, look at how light this is. I was surprised that it even showed up on me. I do think it's a nice color. It is very light, obviously, but it also kind of gives just like light makeup vibes. So that's it. This is the tiniest and the lightest blush that I own. It works. I feel like it's more vibrant in person. Like, I feel like you could see a little more pink, but I definitely didn't expect for it to be this light. But it's fine. I'll just make it work since like I have it and it's not really the end of the world. And look at the little bear. Like, hello? I don't know if I mentioned that the Peach Sea primer is also from Yes Style. This is also Korean. Patrick Ta. The only thing I have from Patrick Ta is his Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duo. And I have the shade She's That Girl. So you got the cream up here with the little covering and the powder on the bottom. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this already a million times. But I do like this blush. I feel like it does get a little neglected in my collection, but I feel like it is a nice color. It is a nice formula. These actually feel really good on my fingers. Yeah, they're like a little bit cooler in tone, but they work really nicely on top of each other, and I feel like there's pretty good payoff. I feel like it's pretty beginner friendly. There are some more things from Patrick Ta that intrigue me, like his eyeshadow palette. It looks nice, even though it is just another neutral palette. It looks pretty to me, but I feel like I've been hearing a bit of mixed reviews and it's expensive. I feel like his brand's a little more expensive, but I feel like I hear basically great things about like the cheek duos, the bronzers as well, especially with him being like a professional makeup artist. His formulations just like make sense, especially with the covering here from the cream. Really smart. Like, I don't expect Patrick Ta to release a colorful eyeshadow palette because that's really not his style. He just does like smoky, soft glam neutrals. So him releasing a neutral eyeshadow palette just doesn't surprise me at all. Maybe I should look into his lipsticks too, because I want like a bullet red lipstick, and I know that you're probably like, what? Don't you already have one? I feel like I don't. I feel like most of my red lipsticks are liquid, and I'm pretty much anti-liquid lipstick at this point. Like, there's some that I still like and use, but I would just rather not. I like bullets and I like glosses right now, so could look into that. So Pixi, I have the On the Glow blush. This is in the shade Juicy. This is a blush stick. This blush is complicated because you do kind of have to hold its hand. You do kind of have to layer this up quite a bit. Oh my god, is that similar to Fielding? No. Okay. Fielding Fielding is darker. Fielding has a little more brown in it, but I have a type. However, the Pixi blush, it is pretty. And when you do finally get it to the opacity you want it to, it leaves a beautiful glow. Your cheeks just look juicy. Like, literally not even just the color, but the finish of this blush, it really is juicy. But yeah, you just kind of have to really like jerk it off, as Teresa's dad would say. If you're not willing to put in the time, then I would say forget it. But if you are willing to put in the time for a nice glowy cheek, then I think that it's nice. You just have to really take it there. But I guess the good thing about that is you can't go overboard with this blush if it scares you. When it comes to more products from Pixi, I want to try their highlighters. I really want to try the, what's it called, like Gossamer Duos or something. Those look really, really nice. I guess I just haven't because I would have to buy it off of their website. Wow, that makes me sound lazy. I have to buy this off of their website? No. And I got this at Target. I feel like, yeah, the things that I want the most from Pixi are not sold in stores. Like, bro. Alright, so that's all the blush. I have one highlighter. So this is Laura Geller, but it's not Gilded Honey. It's Charming Pink. I feel like Gilded Honey might be a little too deep for me. Like, I never swatched it. Wait, yes I have. But that was a long time ago. I feel like it might be a little too deep for me. I feel like the people that I saw wearing it had a little more pigment in their skin. But this highlighter, I haven't used this in a long time. But I feel like I kind of remember it being okay. Like, it really wasn't much. I'd have to use this again to really give it like a 2021 review, but it's old. I've had this for a long time. I feel like Laura Geller would fit into most people's answers for this kind of video. Like, you only have one product from them, and I feel like it would be like this highlighter but Gilded Honey. I really love the design though, because these highlighters are called Gelato Swirl Illuminator. You know what, that doesn't look bad. Yeah, I might have to whip this out again. Nothing else from Laura Geller has really intrigued me. I mean, what's the last thing they released? And that is no shade to Miss Laura, because she is a real person. Yeah, I feel like the brand just kind of went silent. It really was kind of a one-hit wonder brand. Like, one-hit wonders are not just in music. Laura Geller's band. I'm so lame, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm editing this video, and if you want to know some little fun facts about me, it's 5 in the morning because I'm a night owl and I usually go to bed around 6 in the morning or 7. Anyways, I forgot a product and I wanted to do this on my phone instead of like the little camera that's in iMovie, because I wanted for you guys to see like a clearer visual of this. BBIA, this is the only product I have from BBIA, again a Korean brand, and I have their lipstick. This is from the line Last Lipstick, I think. And this is in the shade 16. It's just kind of like an orangey brown nude. And I think that it suits me nicely as a pretty comfortable formula. And I'm actually wearing it in a picture that you're gonna see that I'm gonna insert later when I say that I'm a Mexican fairy. Just keep your eye out for my lips. It will be this lipstick. So it's really nice. I like it. I don't know what else BBIA sells other than their lipstick. But I'm definitely interested in like hearing if they have any other gems. But yeah, definitely check this out. I believe it was an affordable price. I don't remember how much exactly, but it was a pretty good price. Okay, so now we're on eyes, but before the eyeshadow, I'm gonna do a mascara and a brow product. So Essence, the only thing I have from them is the Lash Princess. The thing about this mascara that I don't like is it's annoying to take off. When you wash your face at the end of the night, I feel like it doesn't move. And I feel like there's always something still there, and you're kind of rubbing your eyes. But then because you rubbed your eyes, you got makeup in your eyes and now it burns. That's what I don't like about this mascara. Like, I feel like it's fine, especially for the price. It doesn't transfer onto your face. I think I just prefer something that washes off better. Like, I've cried on this mascara, it doesn't move. So I feel like it's not a bad product. And this is also kind of at the end of its life. There's some left in here, but not really a lot. Well, I'm really doing the YouTuber thing, but like the size of this wand is fine. It's not like too big or too small or anything. But I feel like wands that work for me better are a little more hourglass shaped. And obviously with Essence mascaras, there's a ton of different styles. This one is false lash effect. But I also feel like if you're looking for like a drugstore mascara, this one is more than the Essence one, but this one washes off better. And I feel like it still coats your lashes pretty nicely. I'm wearing it right now, and it also doesn't really transfer on the bottom lashes, so it's just something to keep in mind. I didn't say what the fuck that mascara was, not the name or the brand. I was talking about the Huda Beauty Warrior Princess mascara. And I also wanted to add a quick note that I've cried in this mascara too. And it also doesn't really move when you cry. To be fair, in neither of these mascaras have I bawled my eyes out, like gotten some really terrible news while wearing these mascaras. It's just like normal crying, but they both are pretty good for that. So I've heard Essence is, it's hard to say. I've heard that their eyeshadows are okay, but yeah, I guess I haven't really bothered to look at them. I don't know what the fuck else Essence makes. You know what? I think don't they have a highlighter? Maybe. Like, I don't want to call them a one-hit wonder brand because I don't necessarily think that's true, although is it? And the eyebrow product, this is from Pink Honey, and this is their honey glue texture hold. And this is cute. This is really cute. I really love the jar, and it smells good. It smells like strawberry, but you kind of just like get a spoolie, wet it, like spray it with water or something, and then like swirl it around. And if you want that kind of glued brow look, this is good for that. It's good for kind of like sticking your eyebrows to your face. It's not super intense. I'm sure there's products that are more intense than this. I feel like it does a pretty good job at that look. Yeah, I don't always go for the laminated brow look, but I do like it. And if you are someone that's kind of looking for something, maybe you're looking at the Patrick Ta brow wax, but you're like, that's kind of expensive, maybe you could look into this. I forgot how much it was because I got this a while back, and they're also a UK brand, so shipping, but it's cute. Okay. Eyeshadow. Recently mentioned in a new makeup releases that I wanted this palette, so I got it. Glam Light Dirty Martini. This is the first thing I've ever tried from Glam Lights. I really like it. I really like their formula. Look at this color story. It's just so good. Like, you have to like greens, which I do. I love greens. But these are just like really, really, really nice tones. The shimmers are really good. You can see how reflective that they are in the pan. And it's just nice to get those kind of really special shimmers in a palette, because I feel like you don't often find those in palettes. You find them in singles, but this is really good. I would love to try more from Glam Lights. I'm still kind of looking into the Cake palette, which is pretty much a rainbow palette. They have other palettes that I do think are pretty, but I think that they're too big for me. But this is obviously a really, really good size, and it's just nice. I use this palette to give me a fairy vibes kind of look. I posted it on my Instagram and I called myself a Mexican fairy because that's how I felt, like a Mexican fairy. I am Mexican. I feel like I have to disclose that because people think I'm white sometimes. But anyways, really good palette. I recommend it. They have other palettes in this collection. There's wine, margarita, and something else. But I'm assuming that the formula is the same all across the board. And the back is cute. Nutrition facts. Huda Beauty. The only product I have from Huda Beauty is the gold palette. It's been a while since I've used this palette, but I do think that it's pretty, and I do think that the shimmers in here are pretty nice. And of course, I love the packaging. It's really, really nice. But I'm glad that I just got a little 9 pan from her instead of like the Big Daddy. She has released other color stories in this format that do kind of intrigue me, but I am a little bit like, oh, I don't know. Like the Wilds, one of her Wild palettes, it was like the greeny one. I thought that looked cute, but I was just like, oh, I don't know, I think I'll pass on it. I feel like this is actually good for neutral lovers because it's a little bit of oomph, but it still kind of satisfies your needs. So I swatched all of the shimmers and I feel like some of them you can't really see. Yeah, these are very, very light colors, but you can still see the sparkle in them. So yeah, I feel like you have to like that. These are basically, they're toppers is what they are. They're toppers with obviously some of them being more opaque. And they are dry to the touch, but they're fine. I haven't used this in a while, but I don't really have anything bad to report on it. I don't know what else I would want from Huda Beauty because if I'm gonna be honest, I know she just came out with her rose quartz palette and everybody got it. I don't find that color story appealing. Like, I don't know what it is. I feel like everyone bought it, like everyone, and it wasn't for the virus shade. It was just because they were like, look at this color story. But I kind of just saw it and I was like, okay. And it's not even because, oh my god, Huda and her pinks, because she really can't disassociate herself from pinks, but they're just not my tones. I hesitate to say she's not a brand that I look after because lately I've been saying that about brands that I'm like, oh, I don't really look out for them, and then I look into them and I want everything. I'll just say that I don't really know what to get from Huda Beauty. Alright, I only got 2 more things. I've been sitting here for a while. So the only thing that I have from Spoiled Lips Cosmetics is their Slay for Salma palette. I don't know who Salma is. I'm gonna be transparent about that, but I just look at this cover. Is this not the cutest little thing? It looks like a Bratz doll. And I do really like this palette. There was a period of time where I used this shimmer all the time. It's been a while since I've used this palette, but I really like it. I feel like it's a pretty good formula. But it's basically just like a neutrally palette with a pop of purples, kind of jewel tonedy. And it's cute. It's a cute little moment. I have no idea if it's still available. I know that Spoiled Lips has like palettes that are more spooky. Like I know Robert Welsh has a couple of them. The one with like the coffin shape or something. And I think that that's cute. I guess I just haven't really gone back to the brand since then. But this is a cute little palette. Alright, this is the last thing. The only products that I have from Adept is Plain Jane. And I've talked about this palette before because it is precious. I really put off buying this. When it first came out, I was like, oh, I don't know. But then I saw people's looks with it. I saw people swatching it. And I was like, okay. I don't know if this palette's coming back, if they're going to do another restock. They're a small indie brand, and there was a lot of hype for this palette. This is a really, really nice companion palette. You have to really love shimmers. For this, you have to really love like special shimmers and appreciate them. Because this was kind of expensive too, but I really like the formula, I really like the quality. ACI 7 is one of my favorite shadows that I own. Again, I don't know if it's coming back, so I don't want to be out here like, oh, look at this. I still want to talk about it because I own it and like I know other people own it, but yeah, I don't really like to give FOMO. Adept has released more palettes since then because I feel like this was their first palette. I want to like the color stories of their newer palettes more. But I feel like there's always something that I would do instead with their palettes. And I guess it saves me money. They are a high price tag. But I know that Adept also has singles as well, which is cool. If you're just really into just special sparkly eyeshadows, I would check out Adept. Maybe the color stories are more up your alley. Or again, actually, are there singles in stock? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm sorry. I would love to try their mattes, because they seem pretty nice, they seem pretty smooth, so I would love to try out like a normal palette with mattes and shimmers. But yeah, that's everything. Those are all of my one-off products, kind of one-hit wonder brands for me and my collection. And I pretty much do like all these products. I don't really have anything bad to say about them, just the fact that some of them are neglected. I really haven't used them, so I guess it's a good thing that I just bought the one in some cases. I have been on the other side where I bought multiple shades of something. I feel like the most shades I would buy now for a product is 2. I used to buy like 4 at a time, which is really excessive, and you're not going to use them all. You're just not. So I think just trying out one thing, because you don't know if you like it yet. Just try out one thing. I think that's the best way to go. And yeah, some of these brands I do want to look into some more. Some of them I'm kind of okay with just the one product. So I really like this concept for a video. Shout out to Lauren May Beauty once again. I'd love to hear in the comments some of your one-off products that could be fun to discuss, and tell me if you want more from the brand or if you're like fine, because I think this really was kind of a think piece. We have to be smart when it comes to makeup, okay? It's a very expensive hobby. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. Follow me on Instagram at Gabrielle rizz-uh_, and thank you so much for watching. You've been a lovely audience, and I'll talk to you later.